Hey, I'm gonna share with all you out there, if you will, uh, the benefits of total surrender. So again, I'm sharing my experiences and how what you experience, if you want to think of it as experiences in the future, I think of them as just another event, right? Hey, I'm experiencing something different than I was before. That's all it is. It's just like when I was a kid growing up. Hey, the sun comes up, sun comes down. I don't perceive the universe with gearheads, clocks, TikTok. Just don't. Doesn't exist. That's all for me. That's what we call time card programming. Clock cycles, machines. Okay. Um, and so one of the things that I realized that happened in 2016, in December 2016, when I let myself on fire, took my headset off and said, "I'm done. You know, who the hell wants to participate in this insanity any longer?" Right? And that's coupled with you're already getting information through your heart and your soul because of 2013, right? 13th Arcturian White Bear Clan. By the work that we've been doing while we've been here, you know, grid work, if you will, but things that are happening on a cosmic level. So when you light yourself on fire, that's when all the energy, you've reclaimed all your energy. You've restored full power, right? Now you've burned through all your circuits to burn off anything. You're back to zero. Purest of light. It's fire. That's why all that phosphorus gets lit, right? And that's a cosmic level antenna. And what happens as a result of that, which is total surrender to serve forever. And once that happens and you light yourself on fire, you're back to where it began. It began with that much heat, that much fire. Okay? So we love fire. Okay? But not fire when it's used to destroy what it is we create out of what love is, right? Okay, so I'll share with you some examples and how it's very challenging as a result of that when you go cosmic level. Is that all the pressure changes, everything that's occurring like in an echo chamber, a sound chamber, a vacuum chamber, right? You're experiencing it. Like right now, I'm experiencing pressure, the hiss. I'm hearing all the hissing sounds. Sometimes it's stronger depending on what time of day it is and what day it may be and where I might happen to be on the grid. Right? And the same thing with radio traffic. Sometimes, for example, in the middle of the night, all of a sudden the radio traffic is just like, man, turn that off, you know, and put a mylar. I got a mylar cap. In the old days, just make a shell like a German army helmet of using tin foil, right? Shield. But with me, it doesn't matter. It isn't going to matter because my heart, my soul is a monopole. I'm not. I'm not going to be able to shut it off. So in that way, sometimes it's like a curse and a blessing, right? And so the blessing is you've reached the state of act, what we call. I remember when I was a child growing up, they used to talk about what's called self-actualization, which it's sort of like you have gone through a course, a lesson, by everything that we're learning as we go through life. And from those lessons, we're learning the pathway that we're on, and we make adjustments as we go, right? Because this now we're back to those that do things to deliberately harm them by the harm they do to others, and now we get into the simple arithmetic of how that works because you have an identity as a soul, unless you're a machine, right? And all machines are temporary because of the way that the universe works, okay, to get rid of what doesn't serve us, right? So what happens to me that I noticed after I lit myself on fire and came over here to the Big Island is what we call the level of sensitivity that we have is far more heightened, which means your state of awareness, you are running the highest state of awareness. You're aware of everything that's going on around you to the point it actually gets ridiculous. I realized that I didn't even want to walk. I did not want to be in physical form based on the mass or the density of the weight of your body. Like I weigh 175 pounds. And I'm observing, for example, a field in front of me with plants or grass, right, that's growing. And you can see like a little breeze with the sun's out. And you can see the beauty of the artist that's healing you with the music. And you're actually visualizing the grass, for example, moving, the motion by the wind and the currents, right? And it's like, oh, how beautiful just to observe it. And you don't want to disturb the peace of that grass. Others might say, yeah, but it's just grass. I walk on grass every day. It's different now. It's not the same. You become aware of every single impact that your energy has on everything else that is living energy that you are immersed in. It's like you're the same energy that's flowing through us, it's the same energy that's flowing through it, which means there's no separation, right? That's why I've said this many times. When you become one, a monopole, we give love energy unto all creation, which means wherever we find ourselves in an energy field, of being aware of others that are there, they are naturally going to experience what it is that we are that goes on forever, which is what love is. So everything that we are aware of that is around us is aware of what we are in vibration and frequency, which is the radio set, right? The waves. All the color codes that are represented by what we see in color. So here is another example. When I was in Reno, Nevada, for example, and I'm walking, say, down the street, and I see all this an ant colony, a large one, you know, where they dig those holes down in between the cracks of concrete, right? And you can see them piling up the dirt. And I would walk around them, make sure that I didn't step on one of them, okay? Because it would be no different than if some ship landed on Earth and these beings were like 500 feet tall, okay? And they came walking along and all of a sudden just crunched me, like stepped on me and popped me out like a zit, you know, squashed me like a bug, right? So you can see how the level of sensitivity works between what I do to you, I do to me. And that would be on every level of everything that is alive and living in nature, including everything that is a living cellular organism. That's what happens. That's what I experience. Okay? So I realized that this realm isn't going to fit for me very well, because now I'm having to stop and think, because I become aware of everything that is going to be impacted as a result of the impact that I have on it by virtue of the mass represented by the density that it now becomes aware of, in which it's not experiencing the purest state of peace or an equilibrium state, as if I'm not there. In other words, I can observe it without having a physical presence that's going to have a physical impact where the waves are distorted in any way. So now we're back to the waves of everything that represents a wave, of everything that represents what's conscious and aware of itself, is experiencing the musician. So anything that is not in harmony is automatically being restored to what is harmony and rhythm with the waves, which is the balance. And that's the gift of being a monopole, which is total surrender. You have full awareness. Nothing escapes you. Okay? And that's what allows you to not only run a powerful shield, to protect the energy that you are, which is the soul that you are, led by spirit, but everything else that is within that realm. That's right. Everything that's alive and living in nature. So that's all the elementals, Everything else is alive and living in spirit. Is experiencing the purity of that energy, which is the purity of that fire, which is the purity of that love, which is the purity of that heart. Right? So I thought I'd share that because that's what happened. These are my experiences that I share with everyone else. Is your level of sensitivity, and you have a degree of freedom, not dom. Your spirit has a degree of being free, in which you've unlocked all the doors. It's just like they threw the key away. Right? No longer necessary. So you're at the center point from which it all happens. So now there isn't any more discussion over the choices that you make in order to serve forever on behalf of the one. You have become one with all creation. And that's why the resistance side of this is the resistance to experience what that is out of fear. Because they don't want to give up power to serve. That's the truth of it. I know because I experienced it every day. I love you all. Be good to yourselves.